Hi, this is Jeff from globaljet club, and today we're going to talk about approaches. So whether you're a propeller pilot, an EDF pilot, or a turbine pilot, hopefully you can get something out of this video that'll sharpen your RC skills. So let's get to it. Let's talk about approaches.
Yep. Yep.
Nick, we got a Predator today. Tell me about it, please.
It's a 2.2 meter Predator, powered by a Swiwin 170 and electric retracts. I bought it as a plug and play, so basically put the turbine in, put your radio gear in, and go fly.
How long have you been flying jets?
We've been flying turbine jets for about 4 months.
We're asking pilots today about approach. How do you do your approach for landing? What do you throw first? Gear, flaps? Could you go over it, please?
I like to throw my gear so that I can make sure that they're coming down, and then at about the same time I'm hitting my mid flaps. And then as I'm on short final, I go full flaps and start bleeding off airspeed and look for that center line, put it down.
All right. And of course on takeoff, the first thing we usually want to get rid of is the gear to get rid of that drag.
Yep. Gear up, flaps up.
All right. Good luck with the jet.
All right, thank you.
All right, Clay Shara with the Rebel.
Going vertical, baby.
Clay, how long you been flying jets?
As long as I can remember, since I was a high schooler.
Tell me a little about your Rebel, if you would, please.
Rebel Pro was Pierrot models. I think now Comp ARP has it. It's one of the best flying birds I have had. It is sweet, stable, and predictable.
Big is beautiful, right?
That's right.
Hey, real quick, for new RC pilots, tell me how you do your approach to final. What do you throw first? Gear, flaps? Could you go over it?
In my case, when I'm coming around for a gear pass, I'm lined up with the runway. I bring in half flaps, full flaps, bring power settings to match, then drop my gear. I continue straight on down the runway, turn around, come back, and I work my angle like anything else you practice. And you have your caller talk to you, make sure you get center line, and when you feel like you're going to make the runway, you pull back on your power and float her in.
Do you favor long approach or short approach? What do you recommend for new pilots?
It depends on, each one has their own preference. I would practice both just in case, and usually I do just kind of a medium long approach.
All right, and most of you guys are using full flaps all the time, wind or no wind?
In most cases with a big bird, full flap. If I got a smaller bird and it's pretty high wind, I'll do a takeoff flap for landing.
All right, thanks a lot, Clay.
All right, take care.
All right, we're here with Dan Avila. We just flew the BVM F-16. Dan, tell us about it, if you would, please.
Well, it's Bob Violet, plug and play, powered by a TAKEOFF 260. I've done about 30 flights on it, and it's just uneventful. You know, when you buy stuff from them, it just works.
We're asking pilots today about proper approach. This is for new turbine pilots. How do you do a typical approach with the F-16? Give me the sequence if you would.
Well, the sequence with all my jets is I come by, I do partial flaps, then I go to full flaps, and then as soon as you go to full flaps, I dump the gear and then immediately power up because it's going to start slowing down.
Right.
The reason why I go to full flaps before I deploy the gears, some of the models I've had, if you're going too fast, the nose gear won't lock. And it's just easier on the airframe. And so once I get to, as soon as it dirties up, then you got to put a lot of power on for all that drag with speed brakes out and flaps and all that. And just use power and power it all the way around. And I use the same routine every time, and I don't vary from it, so there's never a change. I don't care if it's windy or not windy. If it's windy, you just carry more power all the way until you break the threshold.
And always full flaps.
Just keep, just completely that way, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. Good luck with the BVM
Thank you,
F-16.
Jeff.
Pretty much gear path behind
I'll do it. Watch that thing on the left.
Yeah.
Can we taxi into position and hold?
After we got one more coming down, so hang on. And then I'm gonna have them get the plane, guys. A little mistiming.
Slow it down, full flaps, drop that gear, and you make a good landing.
Yeah. Fly the same approach every single time, and then if I'm a little bit short, I make an adjustment to that. If I'm a little bit long, I'll make an adjustment from that. But if you kind of do it consistently, the same way every single time, then you'll have kind of a known reference point where you can make adjustments.
Do you drop flaps first, gear? Give me the sequence if you will.
Yeah, what I usually do is I go half flaps first, let the airplane slow down a little bit, put the gear down, let it settle, then go to full flaps. Typically, I go full flaps when I'm on the downwind leg. So upwind, half flap, gear, turn downwind, put the full flaps out, start bringing the power back, obviously to kind of look for an airspeed.
Do you favor a long
Depending
approach?
on the airplane, you're going to either lead the power in all the way to touchdown, or you're going to cut it out a little bit sooner and let it glide in.
For new jet pilots, do you recommend a long approach, short approach?
You know, I don't really like a long approach because if you have some kind of turbine problem, you might have trouble making it back to the field. And a really short approach can be hard to do. So somewhere in between the two. I don't like to get too far out where if I had a flame out, I wouldn't be able to make it back, but not too short where everything happens too fast.
All right, thanks a lot.
That was out, wasn't it? That was out!
Better.
Okay, and about halfway through this pass, I'm going to drop the gear. Give it a little bit of throttle. Gear's coming out now.
You get drag.
Gear pass!
Where? We got one in the gear pass.
Another check.
All three gear. Landing on the next one.
Okay.
Still just got half throttle. It's only 60 pounds.
good approach makes a good landing. Something that's really important that you see a lot of new pilots do is they make their approach way too tight. A nice, easy approach, you take it really wide, much wider than a normal turn, so you don't have to use a lot of bank. It's okay if you go very long on the approach and just goose the throttle as you come in. A lot of times you find that the problems happen in the turn.
So what sequence do you use? Gear first, flaps first? How do you do it?
So flaps first, get it really going slow. You bring it around, do 1 or 2 really slow passes. On one of the slow passes, once you get really comfortable, you bring the gear out. That's your gear pass. On the next time around, you make a really wide turn for the outside lap. And then when you come back in, it's a really wide turn to come to the inside. At that point, you can basically be 0 on the throttle once you're actually on final. Let it come in itself.
Are you using full flaps all the way around?
Every single time I use full flaps. For about the last quarter, maybe fifth of the flight, I'm using full flaps just to get it slow, dirty, get a feeling for it. Every plane flies a little different, so you want to get a good feeling.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
It does fly very slow.
Very, very slow. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Jordan.
Absolutely.
So there you have it. We just did approaches. Hopefully you can take some tips away from that video that'll help sharpen your RC flying skills. And if you're transitioning to turbines in the future, please check out globaljet.club or Banana Hobby. And remember, if you're going, go vertical, baby. See you on the flight line.